What's going on, everyone? Welcome to G-Ball Vision. Today we're taking a look at some fantastic EDC knives. If you're looking to spice up your rotation, you're in the right place. While we're getting started, let us know down in the comments what your EDC is for today. And the knife we're going to kick the video off with is the Kansept Thoth. This was the turning point, in my opinion, for Kansept there in 2024. Since the release of this knife, they have really improved their quality control, their fit and finish. It just really is showing. They've kind of went to that next level, in my opinion. This is a Sparrows design. Base versions come in around $240, but they do have other versions, about 6 or 7 of these actually, and just really, really well executed from Kansept. The design from Sparrows is spot on, in my opinion. As far as the size goes, we're looking at 3.4 inches of 20 CV. This has a nice satin finish, and we have like a modified drop point blade here. Very nice for EDC tasks, poking and piercing, slicing, detail cuts. If you need control over this thing, you have the ability to do that as well. You can be in your standard grip here for just quick casual cuts, and then you have the ability to do a little bit of reaching with this if you need as well, and still maintain some comfort just because of how this handle is designed. And then you have the combination of a titanium backspacer here. Everything is softened down nicely. We do have a right hand carry only titanium clip, and then this is a weave carbon fiber onlay here. But like I said, there are 6 other variations that you can choose from on this knife, and don't overlook this knife if you're looking to upgrade. The 20 CV here, the Kansept Thoth, is a home run, no question in my mind. Next up, this is a knife that I've continuously got out, put back, and just continue to get this knife out. This is the Kizer Feeweed. I believe this is one they released in January to start off the year, and there are a couple versions of this available. I think this one might be gone right now. This is the Z-Wear, but they have S35, S45, and I think S90V variants, so there's at least 3 available of the Kizer Feeweed. And as far as a mid-size knife goes, I really, really like this thing. We have kind of a harpoon clip point, front flipper, and thumb studs here that work really, really well. The way that's angled, you can get a ton of leverage combined with a really nice detent. Front flipper is absolutely money here. And then we have these carbon fiber inlays on this titanium handle, kind of like a faux floating titanium backspacer with a hidden lanyard post. And then we have a milled titanium clip that is chamfered all the way around. This knife is really comfortable, and you have the ability to choke up behind that edge very nicely. If you need a little bit of control, still choke up on that tip, given you'll be a little bit higher than a lower drop point, but you can still fully use that tip for piercing and precise work. Really big fan of the Feeweed, and sometimes Kizer knives tend to get lost in the weeds because there are so many, but this is definitely one to go back to. Next up, we have the CUO Knives Mecca X, another knife that I continuously go back to here. This is phenomenal. This knife comes in right around $300, and I feel like, you know, some knives might be a little overpriced a lot of times by maybe it's $20, $30, whatever it might be. I think this knife right around $300 is an awesome value from design to materials. And if I miss something, guys, as far as price, a spec on this or that, all these knives are linked down below in the description in the order that you see them. I couldn't make it any easier for you if you want to check out one of these knives and look a little deeper, and or there are individual videos on all of these knives where I break them down from tip to butt, and you're more than welcome to go check those videos out as well. Back to the knife, we're looking at their blasted polished finish that they do really well. Looks really good. We're looking at 3.7 inches of M390 on that drop point blade. We have these thumb discs here and a rear flipper for deployment. The detent is beautiful on this thing. You can rocket this knife out, no doubt about it. The way these are done, they just work really, really well. We have a full titanium handle, and then we have a secondary piece for our back strap that is going to be made out of titanium. So this can be pulled right off by just releasing that spring there, and that is the way to get to the pivot and so on. Just a cool little feature, and then that locks right in there. I have not had a single issue. That's on a spring, so you really gotta kind of pull down on it. We also have tritium slots here, which I'm going to actually get some tritium for this knife because I love it. We have a great access to the liner, but it's not going to look like it might be. But what they've done is chamfer out both sides, and it just gives you a ton of room to get in there, whether it's from the side or straight ahead. It just doesn't appear to look like that, but once you go to get in there, it becomes something that you don't even have to think about, which is exactly what we want. On the lock side here with the liner, you can actually see the movement of that liner in there because they have that cut out, which is another really cool and unique touch that CUO and Reich Knives do. They are some of the best in the business, if not the best in the business when it comes to production knives and machining capability. They are top notch in my opinion. I always recommend going and checking out. To the people who haven't, go check out CUO's website. They have some of the coolest knives on the knife market and on the planet. A knife that has blown me away, and I mean literally blown me away, very recently, a couple weeks ago. I bought this knife like 3 months ago, but didn't get into the package until a couple weeks ago, and I was blown away by this knife. From the price tag, which is like $180, $190 from Tuya. This is called the Wolf, and I just pulled this out of my pocket. I have been carrying this thing non-stop. So we have a Harpoon dual ground recurve Tanto clip point blade here. Beautiful blade shape, and we'll get into that in a moment. We have a machine satin or belt satin here on our primary and swedge, and then we have a hand satin there running across the flat. Nice sharpening choil there. Oversized thumb studs for deployment, and I'm talking the crispiest and most beautiful detent resides inside this knife right here. If you like thumb studs, man, this thing just rockets out of there. They have all kinds of different micartas and colors that you can choose from. Name brand, good micarta. We have a titanium lock bar in here. Great access to that and very easy to disengage. This is a little bit thicker of a knife and it's slightly contoured. We have a titanium backspacer in there, and this thing just becomes extremely comfortable in the hand. We do have that pokey tip there, which can be used for piercing and whatnot. This is a great area for longer cuts, and a ceramic rod will take care of this recurve portion. No problem. I would not have any fear about a subtle recurve like that. A single instrument, a rod, will take care of that for you, no problem. And being a novice myself, it has taken care of the recurve issue that, I kind of looked away from previously, but realizing myself how easy it is to just maintain that recurve with a rod, recurves scare me less and less is what I'm getting at. The other really cool thing about this blade shape is this area here where it meets at this point. That is an absolute game changer for cutting tape and cutting into things. I have used that area more on this knife than anything else. It has just been really, really nice along with this secondary edge here. But for the money, this thing is really well executed. well designed and very comfortable in hand. It is also really easy to get in and out of pocket and wear on thicker seam pants like sweatpants, track pants, and or thicker work pant seams. Really, really big fan of the Tuya Wolf. This knife really blew me away. Now, this is I think this is the newest one to this group, but I've been carrying this since I pulled it out of the box. I've made it a point to carry slip joints more and more, and this one has been filling that role, no question. This is the new QSP Hedgehog in its spear point form. So this is a brand new release for them. As far as I know, they just became available on some retailers. I'll do my best to link them down below. They're probably going to be even, coming more and more available as time goes on here. But we are looking at a beautiful spear point, satin finished, 14C 28M blade. We have that medium length pull there. And if you're not familiar with QSP or QSP slip joints, they do a phenomenal job. There was a point in time where I thought they were the OEM for Jack Wolf knives. And I'm not saying that these are identical to Jack Wolf, but that's the kind of feeling I got from my QSP OEMs and QSP slip joints and the Jack Wolves. And regardless if it is or isn't, the fact still remains that their slip joints are absolutely top notch, and I think they should develop their own slip joint line because they have the talent to do so. We're looking at polished steel bolsters here. We have a polished back spring, and then in this case we have this red infused acrylic here, and they have micarta G10. I think they have wood as well. This is a good size, really, really comfortable in hand. You have that full length back spring in there. Everything is finished really, really well all up and down this knife. Where these onlays are, you can't even tell that it transitions unless you're looking at it. The torque screws are into the onlays, very nice. And then we do have a lanyard hole down here on the butt end, but there's lots of different options on this. And then last but not least, the action on these, or the walk and talk, is really, really nice, and mine is broken in beautifully between break-in and a few drops of oil. This thing is really, really nice. Definitely a slip joint that I would look at if I was hunting down a slip joint. Next up, we have the Migaron Arma 2 here. Now, there's a couple different variations of the Arma. There's an XL, there's a version 1. So there's a lot of different variations. The XL is even bigger. Hoping to check one of them out here at some point. But this thing is massive. We're talking around $300 for this knife, but it is fully worth that price point. We are looking at a blade stock thickness of around 250 thousandths, 3 3/4 inches of M390. Look at that blade stock. It is an absolute beast of a knife. Beautiful satin finish on that drop point blade. We have this nice large cutout, and we have a rear flipper for the deployment. And for the weight of this blade, the detent is tuned about as well as it could be because this blade is so heavy. But the detent is good. You're not going to buy this if you're just strictly looking for action. But if you enjoy action with your knives, this is going to fill that role nicely. And if you like a larger XL size knife and are looking for some premium materials, this is easily one of the first knives I would take a look at. The Arma and Geddon series from Migaron. Absolute beast. Beautiful micro milling on the handles here. Chamfered down in all the right spots. Nice thick titanium backspacer here. And then we have a milled titanium clip. You might think this clip would be tight maybe. It works perfectly in every pair of pants that I have tried it, even in thicker seamed sweatpants and stuff like that on the waistband. This thing has been with me a ton over the last couple of months, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Next up, we're taking a look at a knife that I have shouted from the rooftops pretty much, or as much as I could. This knife hasn't went anywhere. I am still getting this knife out and carrying it, putting it in my pocket. This is the Real Steel Hoof, and this is an Austin Fox design. Really good dude. I have talked to him here in the recent past, and he has himself a fantastic design here, and he has grouped himself with a company that is definitely geared for utility and designing and building actual cutting tools. We have a two-tone finished drop point blade. These are going to come in S35 VN, but there are several different variations that you can get off their website, and there's also exclusives of this on other retailers. We are looking at dual thumb studs for the deployment, a very nice generous sharpening choil there, really pokey, really slicey, really comfortable. I love this thing to death. I wish it was a little bit larger. It would be just utterly perfect, but even still, I wear an XL glove. I can get a full grip on this with room to spare. Just an XL is needed, is what I'm saying. This is by no means a small knife. We have carbon fiber Mars Valley on this particular one, titanium for our structure and backspacer, along with our lower mounted right hand carry only pocket clip. And then we are looking at the Hoofed XMK locking system here, which is the first iteration of this lock. And what you have is two plunges and a barrel that are into this titanium handle through this piece of steel here, which is then anchored to this button. Austin has compared this similar to frame lock strength, but I feel like this could even be stronger than a frame lock, but a very robust system nonetheless. We have a stop pin in there as well. As far as vertical or up and down, this is not going anywhere. To shear off all that stuff, it is just not going to happen. As far as a prying motion, that's a little bit different story, and I think, this thinner blade wouldn't be real good for that anyway. But if this lock was on a more robust knife designed for that, I think it could handle that type of stuff. I beat the hell out of it, and all it has done is smile at me. Really comfortable in hand, great opening action. You have a real detent in there, so it is as solid as they come. Really reminds me of the Vanker lock, but through a actual button and not the pivot. That's what it feels like. So smooth. Love the Real Steel Hoof. Definitely one I would check out. And next up, we have one that I can't put down here again. This is the Vosteed Akita. Here again, I wish this had an XL or was a little bit larger than it is. But where it sits, it does work really, really good, even for my hand. We are looking at S35 VN with that beautiful stonewash finish that they do. We have a cutout for deployment and a front flipper here. Really, really snappy action. Like I just said, the Vanker lock and the XMK lock there have a very similar feel as far as how you open the knife and as well as durability so far. The Vanker lock, the XMK lock have been really solid for me. We're looking at textured aluminum handles here that have anodizing done. They have a bunch of different variations you can get of this knife, and then they are a little bit thicker. So even if you have a little bit bigger hand, you have that full choil there and a little bit thicker handle. So it just works really well. Plenty of edge there to do day-to-day things. Just a matter of preference in me wanting an XL, and I think this would be a perfect design for an XL. That's just my opinion. I do think a full-length backspacer would be really nice on this knife. We do have a deep carry two-way pocket clip here, and it is recessed. For some reason, they didn't recess the screws, but I have not had any trouble. They're kind of like half recessed, half not. haven't had any trouble, but I don't know why they ultimately did that, but hasn't given me any issues. And then we have this big lanyard and barrel spacer here. Really nice construction, and they tried to keep the price really reasonable on this knife. The R&D that goes into this lock, or that has went into this lock, is what's going to ultimately make this a little bit more money than something with a liner or frame lock. And you're going to get a little bonus one here. This kind of has an asterisk next to it because these kind of come in and out of stock. But another knife that I have just been loving the absolute hell out of is this TRM Bulldog here. Magna Cut steel, USA made, beautiful stonewashed drop point here. We have a cutout for deployment. Really, really solid crossbar lock action on this thing. We have contoured, textured titanium handles here, which that is going to add some cost to this knife, along with it being USA made and in Magna Cut. We are looking at a deep carry clip here that is recessed along with the screws. It is going to be right hand carry only, however, on this model, but I look for TRM to either offer lefty models and or have lefty models here in the future, and they just do a phenomenal job on their pocket knives. A little bit thicker of a blade stock for them, I would say. A little bit above what they normally do, but comes down nice and thin. I think it's a perfect mixture for that Magna Cut. Still going to cut and slice well, but give you a little bit of toughness factor as well. Here again, I wish they would make a Bulldog XL, because this would be another beautiful knife in an XL fashion. You guys will have to let me know, what was your favorite knife from today's video? I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push this video out there to more people. And if you're new to my channel and you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe, because I release daily videos just like this. I'll pop up a couple of new videos on your screen. Go check one of them out for me. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.